Folks, this special broadcast of AEAC wouldn't have been possible without the support of Airguns of Arizona, Airgun Depot, Pyramid Air, and JSB Predator International, and you know the best way to thank them. Hey guys, we're here with Tony Bellis of Daystate and Brocock. Is that fair to say?
And MTC. I can do multi-talented.
Multi-talented
well,
man.
some say.
And if you're a stranger to the channel, which you're probably not because you're watching this, you'll know that I am a huge advocate of this man and their company and the work that they do. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't come by the Brocock and Daystate booth to see what's new and cool for 2017. So I grabbed Tony here and I asked him if he'd kind of take us through it and let us know what's going on.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Pretty much this year, everything's new. You
Okay.
normally come to SHOT Show and you have one or two things you can concentrate on.
Right.
So if you're ready for the omnibus edition of your channel, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I'll take you all through it.
All right, sounds
But
good.
only
Let's
joking,
do it.
we'll cut it down so as fast as we
Yeah, well, we
possibly
don't want the guys and gals at home to
Go
pass
get a
out.
pillow, yeah.
And your popcorn.
Right. Okay, so we started off with the Wolverine 2.
Yeah, can we take this down? Is this
Yeah,
come
we
off
can
the
take
wall?
This down. This is the Saxon version, so we start off with a limited edition for a couple of reasons. When we're doing a new rifle,
Whoops.
we like to do short runs on the first batch,
Okay.
which usually frustrates people while they're waiting for their but one to arrive.
Mhm.
So we do it with a limited edition, and this is only 150 of these made.
Wow.
Now, 2016 was the 950th anniversary of the Norman invasion into Britain. I
Okay.
bet most Americans know that.
Right, sure. We're all real brushed up on our history.
So we use that as a bit of excuse to do a very exotic and very different looking rifle.
All right.
We called it the Saxon.
Mhm.
We've used some anodic anodizing. That's posh for anodizing on anodizing.
Okay.
So it's in the actual material itself.
Mhm.
We fitted a beautiful Huggett silencer here.
Okay.
But the base rifle is a Wolverine 2, which is a facelift, an update version of the classic Wolverine.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of the guys at home, one of our most popular videos is the 177 range and effectiveness video. It actually went wild through the United States and went crazy across Europe. It's one of their favorite videos, and,
Right.
and I used my personal rifle in the making of that video, which is a Wolverine C-Type 177. So, I'm a huge fan of this platform, and when I walked in here, my eye went to it right away, but this one obviously looks a little bit different.
That's right. Well, of course, the laminate stock breaks your eye, but underneath that, you've got the basic form of the Wolverine 2. The Gary Kane, the famous stock maker.
Yep, stock maker Gary Kane.
He's redesigned this. He's added an adjustable cheek piece. He's added a nice undercurve, which is sort of for homage to bench rest. So that will fit nicely in a bench rest shooter.
Okay, great.
And we've got an anatomical grip there, so you've got some finger grooves in it. And we can only really do this now in mass production because the machinery at Manelli, who make the stocks in Italy, they've really got the game sorted out with a hugely expensive CNC wood turning machine. So they were able to do these anatomic grips at reasonable cost for us.
It's beautiful.
So
And,
you've got that.
and I noticed something glaring at the bottom here that's
Yeah, well, that's a
poking my eye out. What's that all about?
That is actually a British 50p piece, which is the limited edition by the Royal Mint to commemorate the 150th anniversary. So we bought 150 of these coins and we embedded in the stock. So you get
So that's a
50p
real
back
that's a
when
real
you-
coin.
That's a real
That's
coin.
not a piece of plastic that you guys
that's
got
a
in
real
China
limited
somewhere.
edition coin, which
Oh,
would
that's-
now cost you £10 anyway. So,
Wow.
so that's something which is a collector's item in a collector's item. It was just a neat feature, but what attracted me to it was you've got King Harold in there getting the arrow in the eye on the coin. So
Very cool.
I thought that would be a nice touch.
Definitely makes it special and something rare, to be sure.
So there we go. So but the base rifle, you can see the beautiful
May
stock
I?
shape.
Yeah.
Yes,
So if I'm following you along, this feels to me a lot like the Wolverine that I have at home.
That's correct.
But we've made some improvements to the stock. And obviously, there's a carbon fiber bottle now, which wasn't available when I got mine, and I think most of us know the merits of that. The receiver looks a lot nicer.
Yeah, we've done some restyling on the receiver, bring it more in line with the Pulsar.
Okay.
So the Pulsar has this look to it, which is quite popular. And there's also inside the gun, although it's a small detail, the serviceability on the original Wolverine was a little bit harder because we had to machine the valve face perfectly in the hole. So they've added a core valve, which is removable, to make servicing of the guns just a little bit quicker and
Okay.
simpler. which means, you know, if the user's doing it himself, he'll find an easier job, and also for the factory, it speeds things up.
All right, so if I'm following along, the improvements we've made to the receiver isn't just to make it look cooler, but easier on the production end,
That's right.
easier on the servicing end for whoever the distributor or retailer is.
That's right.
So it looks better and it works better.
Right.
And I'm sure everyone's probably wondering right about now, this is a special edition.
That's right.
So are we going to see any of these types of features carry over into the next?
Yeah, I've got one here.
Oh, yes, please. I'll put this back if I can figure out how to do it. Am I doing this right?
That's right, you got it.
Just push? Do I have to twist or anything?
So
Okay, here we go.
So this is something you're familiar with. This is the Wolverine C, but this is the Wolverine 2 version, so the update facelift version.
Yeah.
You can see the curve and the stocks here, and the
Yeah,
top of
okay.
the grip. And in this case, we've got the fore end on there, which means that I was to use an air cylinder.
Right. This is
200cc, but there's a 300cc version as well.
all right. This looks very similar to what I have at home.
That's right. Again, with the restyled breech block and the core valve changes to the valving system.
Beautiful. So other than easier on your end, easier on the serviceability end, do any of the improvements we've done in the new receiver, you know, are we going to see that, you know, as far as the end user is concerned in their day-to-day with the rifle?
That's right. The original Wolverine's now phased out, and this is the replacement for
Okay.
it. So as you order Wolverines from you know, pretty much middle of the year onwards, these are the sort of ones which will come.
And we're calling it the Wolverine 2.
Wolverine 2. It's not designed to be a big improvement. It's just an incremental. It's a bit like the new dashboard in the next year's car.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Always keep making a great product better. Super. Well, Tony, thank you.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you showing me that.
Yep.
And I'm going to keep walking around your booth, and I'm sure I'm going to see something else that gets me excited, and I'll probably grab them again, and we'll talk about it.
Excellent. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, that didn't take long. Of course, back home, there's been lots of talk about the new Brocock Bantam. You see it all over the internet. You're starting to see it on YouTube a little bit. So I saw that, and I didn't wait but 5 seconds and grab Tony again to see if he'd take us through it.
Fantastic, Steve. Okay, so you know, Brocock was bought by the Daystate group about 3 years ago now. Time flies.
Yes.
And we've been working really on new products ever since. And it's not designed to be new. We've been developing the product and the company.
Okay.
We started off last year with the Compatto, which is the air cylinder version. That's gone down very well. But the US market always wants more power, more capacity.
Yeah. Can we pause on the Compatto for a second?
Sure.
I'd like to, just for a minute, because everybody knows that, you know, Tony and I aren't the biggest guys in the world, and you know, for us guys,
we're the semi-bullpups.
I've picked up a lot of Airguns in my day where I feel like, you know, William H. Bonney, you know, Billy the Kid holding his gun, and it's like as tall as he is, you know, the old Wild West pictures. So when I grab a gun like this, you know, something that was appealing to me right away in the Compatto were two things. One, it's size.
Yeah.
It's made for a normal sized human being, because we're normal,
size.
not everybody else.
Yeah.
And exactly. And there's something different going on here. It's not a bullpup.
Yeah.
It's not a rifle.
Yeah.
It's kind of something in between. So I think it's
exactly
important
right.
for you to touch on, because this is very cool, and there's some really neat things happening here.
Well, do you know, we first did this 20 odd years ago, and it was a design that was finished and didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And when we were looking for something unique for a Brocock, which was different to the full bullpup on the Pulsar or the full length rifle on the Huntsman, I said, look, we've got this design. I cried for 20 years that we've not used it. Let's use
Shame on you.
Yeah, let's pull
fault.
it out for the cupboard. And you know, to be fair, they ran with it. And what you end up with is instead of having an 8-inch reversed action on a bullpup, you have a 4-inch move back, and that brings the center of gravity right back, and you end up with something that has the balance really kind of like a Ruger. You know, you've got a much shorter air rifle, but not with the full bullpup intermount, high mount problem, and the problems with the cocking of the gun being over your ear and all the rest.
Sure.
So you've got a gun that just sits really right back in the shoulder, yet the cocking handle is exactly where you want it to be.
And what Tony's saying also is, if you could put that right back up there, I notice these things when I'm carrying them around in the field making pretty movies for you guys. All the weight isn't up here, you know, where it's going to make him tired. It tends to be kind of right in here on these shorter rifles, which, because his arms bend, it's so much easier just to carry that around. You don't get the fatigue.
That more
it's very
people
maneuverable.
don't do this format. because it makes so much sense. You're bringing the center of gravity back. You're still able to use full-length barrels, and you know it's just it's really around 4 inches shorter than any other gun with exactly the same sort of pattern. But the point of balance and everything is absolutely perfect.
It's a great
The
gun.
American wanted more power and they wanted more capacity.
Okay.
So for this year,
I've got your knob.
okay, thank you very much.
Team effort. There we go.
Right. We did a Bantam version. So Bantam is a lightweight chicken.
So this is a, wait. So this is a
Brocock.
Compatto
Yeah.
Bantam.
That's right. Most people are calling it just a Bantam, and we're going to run with that in the future.
Okay.
So it is a version of the Compatto, and what you've got is the same semi-bullpup styling. So you've got the short action. We've added a kind of a neat thumb hole design to it, and an adjustable cheek piece, which is something that people like.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah. So we got an adjustable cheek piece, adjustable butt pad. We put the pressure gauge on the side, but we fitted a carbon fiber bottle to this.
Okay.
Keeps the weight right down. But now I've got an air capacity of 480 cc.
Good
so that's a
night.
good old volume of air, and I can get this gun in 25 caliber up to a 40 foot-pound.
That was going to be my next
Yeah.
question. If you've got the air, are we going to make use of
Now
it?
we can get some power out of it.
Wow.
So we can do a higher shot count of 60, 70 shots in a 22 caliber at 30 foot-pounds of energy. And 30 foot-pounds is more than most air guns will do. Spring air gun might do 25.
Yeah,
these
right.
will do
More like
30.
18.
Yeah, that's right.
Just for reference, a 177 caliber Springer shooting 1,000 feet per second is like 18, 19 foot-pounds. So it gives you an idea of the power that's in a gun like this.
PCPs, because the energy's been put in with the compressed air, you're not putting it in with a cocking effort. So they're very easy to shoot, very easy to cock. And so 30 foot-pounds is a lot of energy, but we can give you more because we're on the 25 caliber with a bigger pellet. We can get it up to 40 foot-pounds.
Good. Wait, may I?
Yes, please do.
Wow. So I'm noticing more than just the cheek piece. I'm noticing the stock feels different.
Yeah, this has got a soft touch finish. We do also offer in a wood for those who are a bit more classical.
Okay.
We do a wood finish, but this is the soft. This is the one that seems to be popular at the moment.
So is this is this a synthetic
No,
stock
this
through
is
and through?
A beechwood with a formed rubber coating over the top.
Okay, there's a reason I asked him that, and you guys can't tell this at home, but when you do this to a gun, it either goes boing or it goes thud.
Yeah.
And this went thud. So that was my question: is this wood in here?
You don't want a hollow plastic stock, and if you're going to do a full Macmillan type stock, then you're going to pay a lot of money for it. And we had to come somewhere in between. So we've got a relatively cost-effective rifle, but there's a solid piece of good old beech underneath there, and then it's got this hard rubber coating.
Very grippy. I'm a hockey player, and this feels like a hockey puck. It's a nice grippy rubber, and you've made some improvements here in the stippling I can see as well.
That's right. Black bolt handle was popular, so we've added those to the latest rifles. Of course, you've got a three-way power adjuster here, which is very useful. So you've got high power, whatever that is, 30 or 40 foot-pounds, and then you step down to a slightly lower power, and then you go all the way down to the low power setting, which is something like half the power of the whatever the top power is.
Which there's multiple advantages to. If you're new to air gunning, why would you ever want low power over high power? But if you just want to punch paper for the afternoon, or if you want to plink, or maybe you're shooting in an environment, that's populated with human beings. You don't necessarily want 30 foot-pounds of energy to shoot, Mr. Nutter out of the tree. It makes sense to dial.
You get a few more shots and you get a quieter gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of shooting and squirrels, I'm noticing something different in the receiver as well.
That's right. Because of the 4 inches back, the scope has to go 4 inches forward. So we put on basically an optic holder, what's sometimes called an intermount, which allows you to move the scope further forward. It helps you get eye relief. It also moves it up slightly, which is also quite useful on this design of gun.
I'm going to put Tony on the spot now, but I remember Extreme Bench Rest. It may have been 2 years ago, but you were shooting a scope on the Pulsar that was an MTC Mamba, and I think you had it right up to your eye.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this back here, and I'm thinking maybe that would be a good fit for a scope like that, which gives you that huge field of view that hunters desire.
That's the MTC.
You know who I am?
No. Let me look at your name. Oh, Randy. Good to meet you. We have to talk later. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Randy, R&L Airgun Supply.
Okay. Yeah, that's an MTC Viper Connect, which has a zero eye relief scope. We use
That's
these
the one
on
I meant.
we
Did I
use
say
them in-
Mamba?
Yeah,
I apologize.
It's a Viper.
Viper, sorry.
The Viper Connect, and it brings it right back, and it looks the part. The Viper Connect actually on a conventional rifle looks like it's hanging off the back of the rifle.
Yeah.
But when you put it on something like this, it looks the part and it balances the gun beautifully.
Now I've got a super compact rifle with a wide field of view.
That's right.
It's right up against
Double the field
mine,
of
not
view
letting in any
conventional
glare or
stuff.
anything like that. Cool, cool stuff, guys. Tony, I can't thank you
Steve.
enough. This is an exciting time to be an air gunner, and if you haven't already, check it out. Check it out. Brocock, Compatto, Bantam.
That's it.
Excellent.